Good morning, dancers. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about this idea of injury prevention versus injury risk reduction, right? So completely preventing injuries versus decreasing the risk of our injuries happening. I think there's a very big conversation, and perhaps this gets a little bit more into semantics and word choice, but it's the idea of injury prevention, how we use it, and what kind of expectations we sort of create for ourselves and for our community at large when we say injury prevention, right? So our general understanding of injury prevention is that if you do X, you will never get Y, right? If you do X, you will prevent Y. If we do so-and-so exercises, we will then prevent ourselves from ever getting injured. Now, personally, I think that word choice is important because word choice communicates expectations. And I think word choice also communicates a lot of different aspects. Like when we think about prevention, are we thinking about, I'm just trying to avoid something? Or am I trying to be proactive and move towards something? So, for example, if I think about, I'm trying to prevent an ankle injury, all I'm thinking about is I don't want an ankle injury versus how can we shift our mindset if I say, like, I want to be strong, I want to reduce my risk of injury, but I'm thinking about performance. Then inherently, if I'm thinking about performance, I will be addressing the things that I am trying to mitigate in terms of an ankle injury. So instead of thinking about, I don't want to have an ankle injury, I'm thinking about, I want to be strong so I can handle all the things that dance or whatever activity it is that we wish to do will throw on me, right? What is the demand of the movement that I have to do, and how can I do that the best? Because inherently, if you're addressing those things and you're thinking about performance, you are talking about injury prevention, right? So the other part of this is thinking about where can we use the word injury prevention. So I think about, if I'm thinking about a group of people, and let's say there is, 75% of them are dealing with some sort of knee situation, and we implement a program and we see that instead of 75% of people dealing with an injury, we've now decreased that to say 25%. Then in some way, shape, or form, yes, we have prevented some injuries because statistically, we've brought the number down, right? So injury prevention in that sense as a group. On an individual level, that's hard to say that we can completely prevent injuries. If we look at the way dance has increased in terms of demand, if we look at the type of physicality that is now required for, especially in our youth and adolescent training, dance learning environment, if you will, we can't completely prevent injury. You look at the way professional athletes work, they're doing a lot. They obviously have a different way, modes of support, but people still get injured. So what I see, and this is perhaps anecdotal in some ways, but what I see is while we can't completely prevent injuries on an individual level, just because there are so many factors involved, right? What amount of prehab will prevent you from being injured from falling off a stage, for example. But I will tell you that the people and the dancers that are invested in their strength and invested in their physical health, but also invested in really identifying if they're doing too much and having honest conversations with themselves about how much they're loading their bodies, these are the people that bounce back fast, or faster than if we weren't thinking about those things, right? These are the people that have taken the time to really invest in their understanding as not just a dancer, but a human. And what is the capacity for our tissues and our muscles, our tendons, our ligaments? How can we increase that baseline strength so that if and when we have to deal with an injury, we're not falling below a threshold, but you might, of course, lose a little bit of that. But the thing is, you're not dipping way back down. You might float a little higher, and then we can build back up because your body understands that this is its baseline instead of here. So there's a little Wednesday morning rant for you on injury prevention and injury risk reduction. I hope this starts some conversations on your end, and perhaps changes your mind about, what is injury prevention and what are we talking about and what do we actually mean by that. So, all right, let's move. Happy Wednesday.